Lorie TV, the place to be to have an extraordinary business and life that you deserve. And today is Q&A Wednesday. But today we get to twist it up and change it up a little bit. I actually have a question for you. Being that we work in real estate, I get quite a few questions and a couple of things my viewers would like to know when it comes to getting into a home. One, how do I get funding to purchase a home? And then to take it a step further, where do I get the funding? So I wanted to introduce someone I highly respect in the mortgage industry, Stephen Flounlacker, who has been my #1 loan officer, taking care of many of my buyers' concerns and deals for a few years now. So I highly respect and wanted to introduce you to Stephen Flounlacker. Stephen Flounlacker is a 15-year mortgage veteran who was born and raised in Prince George's County. After high school and an enlistment in the United States Navy, he attended the University of Maryland. He now resides in Annapolis, Maryland with his wife and family. Steve prides himself on having his customer well informed throughout the lending process and exceeding their expectations. He is a HUD counselor for Housing Options and Planning Enterprise, also known as HOPE, Prospect Mortgage Certified Renovation Specialist, and trained in county and state down payment assistance programs. Always allows time for borrower questions, be it the first house or the 10th. Welcome, Steve. Thank you so much.
Glad to be here.
I respect a lot of the work. We've been working together for a couple of years, so I truly respect many of the relationships that we've built, but primarily I thank you very much for coming onto the show today to talk a little bit more about how to manage the money for someone looking to buy a home, okay? If you could share a little bit about your mortgage background, how have we got to this point?
Well, like I said, what's then is now, I guess is what you could say here. I started the mortgage business after I left the software business after the .com went .bomb. And I was getting ready to take a position at another company, and I was using a friend's fax machine at a local mortgage company, and he basically convinced me that I needed to go to work for him.
Okay.
Haven't looked back since. It's interesting because a lot of what we're but we gathered meticulous information about our borrowers. Our borrowers gave us detailed information about their credit past, and then we would mail off their verifications of employment.
I remember those days.
Yeah, and so then we went through a period of time in the mortgage business where we made some shortcuts, and they really weren't based on realtors or mortgage people. We just lived by the rules that were laid out there for us, but some of those decisions had catastrophic results.
Right.
So now, come 15 years later, we're back to the meticulous gathering of information, just with the aid of better technology.
Right. That's always a good thing.
Yeah.
That's always a good thing. And I too used to work in the mortgage industry, so I understand much that we have to go through just to make sure that the client gets ready to the point. I know first they have to wake up and just say, I'm ready to buy a home, but also just making sure that they are fully prepared. That's one of the great reasons why you do very well at what you do.
Thank you.
So, you're welcome. What kind of buyers have you seen to date?
What I'm seeing right now are buyers who don't own a house, and then I'm seeing investors right now.
Okay.
And what I mean by someone who doesn't own a house is either a first-time home buyer or someone who's already gotten rid of a house and is basically easing their way back into home ownership again.
Right. And one thing I know, just by going, when I used to work in that industry, clients years ago, once you give them a pre-approval amount, they would want to exceed that and just say, give me more, give me more.
Not happening.
Yeah, these days I can pretty much tell clients, if you tell them one amount, they certainly want to go a little bit lower and just keep everything reasonable. Okay.
I'm seeing that my borrowers have a higher degree of financial responsibility.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So the fear is there.
Yes.
So for a lot of times, and that's good, because that at least allows them to know that they're going to do better this time around than the first time that we went into that. So what kind of, if you're seeing most of them are first-time buyers or investors, what kind of popular loans are out there now?
Well, for the investors, there's Fannie Mae products out there. large down payments, which
Right.
there should be on investment
Mhm.
properties. And then for the owner occupied, the people going to live in their house, we're looking at FHA, be it 2 or 3K or regular FHA.
Okay.
USDA where it's geographically allowed. And then for our active duty military and our veterans, the VA loan.
Okay, it's good. So you have a variety of a little bit for everybody.
Yes.
Okay. And as far as when it comes to down payment versus savings, it's a topic that many don't think it's available. So when you take a look at, let's say for instance, you have a customer that calls.
Mhm.
They have marginal, great credit, decent credit, they have great employment, their income is okay,
Mhm.
but they don't have any savings developed for their house. What do you suggest in a situation like that? Because it could be where something's available.
I try to encourage savings.
Yeah.
Okay, I do try to encourage savings, because we'll talk about priorities a little bit, but what the savings allows them to do once they become a homeowner, it gives them the ability to make some priority decisions in their life.
Mhm.
But I encourage down payment assistance.
Right.
So I do try to find the down payment assistance, but I strongly and almost insistently go for savings patterns.
Right. And I think things have changed so much to the point where people need to really pay attention to the pennies right now with everything going out
Yes.
the door. What do you suggest as far as financial education or budgeting?
Budgeting, I like to kind of change that and call it prioritized.
Yes.
Okay? And what I like to say is I can't make those decisions for you, but if you're gonna go, you've already made a decision if you're speaking to me that you've made a house a priority,
Mm-hmm.
okay? So then we need to look at the rest of your priorities. It could be your church and tithing to your church.
Right.
You could be somebody who has got a dream that you're gonna travel every year, and
Right.
that's just something you're gonna do.
That's a good
But,
dream.
but the good thing is, as you're going through and prioritizing, you'll find out what things are sucking away from your priorities.
Absolutely.
So then you'll be able to get that savings pattern we talked about and put some little bit of money away.
Okay.
Because when you become you're a homeowner, you're no longer,
That's
you're
it.
your landlord.
That's it. You're the landlord now.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you had, to sum everything up, if you had 3 good tips that someone who's looking to get down payment assistance, what's the best direction to let them know about down payment assistance?
Prepare themselves, sure.
Mhm.
You need to get a hold of your tax returns. You're gonna need 3 years tax returns. That's basically the way that the down payment assistance programs make sure you're a first-time home buyer.
Right.
Okay? You're gonna need to go ahead and get yourself into a home buying education course. Okay?
Absolutely. Need that.
They're good for 6 months from the time you take the course, so you know to make sure you're getting close to deciding it's time for you to do something. Okay? And then the tax returns are gonna help you do the second part, which is you're gonna need to look at your income to make sure your income does qualify for the programs.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. It's a perfect remedy. Well, thank you very much. I have one last question for you.
Mhm.
If going forward, what would be the one thing that you would say best to educate your buyers?
Talk to me 6 months prior to you going out and looking at a house.
I can't just talk to you in 2 weeks, I wanna buy a house?
Yeah, because what'll happen is it'll be far more stressful. It's going to be stressful no matter what, buying your first house or buying any house.
Right.
But the better educated you are and the better prepared you are, the less stress is going to be involved in it.
Right, see, that's what we're trying to make sure we have, is less stress. Thank you
They
so
all like
much.
less stress.
We've been working together for years now, and I totally have to have someone like this on my team, because as I'm working in real estate for my clients, I have to make sure that everything, especially the financing, unless they're paying cash, that it makes sense. You know, they're in trusted hands and they're not told X amount of dollars, and by the time you get to settlement, it's way out of hand. So I trust you very much with all of my customers, and I thank you so much. I also welcome any realtors who are looking for a great loan officer. Make sure you contact this gentleman right here, because it will be the best thing to your business as well as customers. Information will be on the screen, so you can get in contact with Stephen Flounlacker and get into that house very, very, very soon. So thank you so much. And that leads us to our face tweet of the day. You are your greatest asset. Put your time, effort, and money into training, grooming, and encouraging your greatest asset. That is by me.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Remember, come on over to Lorie TV, share your comments about what you heard today, any comments or questions that you'd like to have answered, and we'd love to hear from you. So thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Lorie TV.